The Cincinnati Bengals may have just uncovered something special, right where they've needed help the most. Let's not sugarcoat it. This offense is loaded. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. It's a nightmare for any defense. But if there's one thing that's held this unit back from being flat out unstoppable, it's the offensive line. And let's be honest, this isn't a new issue. Protecting Burrow has been a problem since day one. Even before him, the Bengals O-line was a weakness hiding in plain sight. But something's changing. This offseason, the front office didn't sit back. They took action. And what they've done in the trenches, it might finally be the answer fans have been begging for. Before we get into the latest on this new development, make sure to hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and turn on the bell so you don't miss a single update on your Cincinnati Bengals. Now, let's get into it. According to Warren Sharp, some of the advanced numbers coming out of Cincinnati's offensive line room are eye-opening. It's clear the organization has recognized the problem, and they're finally making real moves to fix it. And while critics love to talk about Burrow not being elite, it's laughable when you look at what he's done, despite the protection issues. Burrow's numbers, Chase's dominance, Higgins' reliability. They're doing all this with pressure in their faces. Just imagine what this offense becomes when that pocket actually holds up. Let's break this down, because what Joe Burrow is doing behind this offensive line doesn't just defy logic, it's heroic. He's releasing the ball in just 2.5 seconds per throw. That's the fourth fastest in the entire NFL. And guess what? He's also the least blitzed quarterback in the league. That means defenses aren't even sending extra pressure. So if he's barely getting blitzed, and he's getting the ball out lightning fast, why is Joe Burrow still getting hit more than anyone else in the NFL? There's only one answer. The offensive line is failing him. Let's not sugarcoat it. The numbers are brutal. Burrow is doing everything right. Fast reads, quick throws, minimal risk. But even then, he's getting hit at a rate no other quarterback comes close to. Here's the stat that should embarrass everyone in the trenches. The Bengals are the only team in the entire league whose offensive line has ranked 25th or worse in pass block win rate for 4 straight seasons. 4 straight seasons. In 2021, they ranked 30th, and still somehow that team went all the way to the Super Bowl. That's not luck. That's Joe Burrow making the impossible look routine. Imagine what this team could do if he finally had the protection he deserves. Let's talk about what these past few seasons really say. Not just about Joe Burrow, but about what he's been up against. In 2022, the Bengals ranked 30th in pass block win rate. In 2023, 27th. And in 2024, dead last. 32nd out of 32 teams. Let that sink in. With the worst pass-blocking offensive line in the entire NFL, Joe Burrow has still managed to put up numbers that belong to the game's absolute elite. Let's run the receipts. Number 1 in total completion. Rate number 1 in third. Down completion rate number 2 in overall accuracy. Number 2 in passer rating. 103.3 in touchdown rate. 5.9% year 4 in touchdown to interception ratio, 3.1 to 1, 5 in yards per attempt, 7.6 in success rate, 48% or 10 in EPA per attempt. And here's the stat that should silence every critic once and for all. Joe Burrow has been hit more within 2.5 seconds of the snap than any quarterback in the NFL by a wide margin. The second most hit quarterback, 25% fewer hits. That's not normal. That's not sustainable. And yet, Burrow has carried this franchise through it all, with poise, production, and pressure in his face every single snap. This isn't just about poor blocking, it's about a quarterback who refuses to break, even when everything around him is falling apart. Joe Burrow isn't just elite. He's battling through the impossible and still winning. Joe Burrow has been fighting for his life behind that offensive line, and Bengals fans have been saying the same thing for years. Fix it. Now and finally. It looks like the front office is starting to listen. Yes, the Bengals made some solid draft moves. Jalen Rivers and Dylan Fairchild both have serious potential. But what really stands out? It's what they did after the draft. They didn't stop. They kept hunting for talent. And that's how they landed a name every Bengals fan needs to know: Seth McLaughlin. He's not just a flyer or camp body. This is a guy who played multiple years at Alabama, won national championships, and then led the offensive line at Ohio State. He's played at the highest level against the toughest competition and thrived. The only reason he wasn't drafted? A late season Achilles injury. That's it. If not for that setback, he's a day 2 or early day 3 pick. Easy. Now, the Bengals may have just grabbed a starting caliber center without spending a pick. A tough, experienced, battle-tested leader. This wasn't just a depth move. This was a statement. After years of frustration, Cincinnati is finally attacking the offensive line issue from every angle, and Seth McLaughlin could end up being the surprise fix nobody saw coming. The only reason Seth McLaughlin didn't hear his name called on draft weekend? An unfortunate Achilles injury late in the season. That's it. Talent-wise, he was right there with the top interior lineman in the class, and as soon as the draft ended, guess who was at the very top of the best available board? McLaughlin. Undrafted. Unclaimed. Available. The Bengals didn't hesitate. They picked up the phone, made the call, and brought him in immediately. Let's be clear, this wasn't just some backup plan. This was strategic. This front office is finally treating the offensive line like what it actually is: the second most important unit on the field after the quarterback. Joe Burrow is already producing like a superstar with minimal protection. Now, imagine if Cincinnati actually surrounds him with a wall he can trust. The Bengals drafted 2 promising linemen this year, but they didn't stop there. They added McLaughlin, a Remington Award winner recognized as the best center in college football. He started 24 games at Alabama before transferring to Ohio State, and he's got the flexibility to play at guard or center. If not for the injury, he's easily a day 2 pick. Instead, the Bengals may have landed one of the biggest steals of the offseason without spending a single draft pick. So, what exactly does Seth McLaughlin bring to this Bengals team? Speed, leadership, versatility. He moves incredibly well for a guy his size. Agile feet, strong balance, and the kind of locker room presence every offensive line needs. This isn't just a depth signing. McLaughlin is here to compete and possibly win a starting job. Early reports say he could seriously push for that right guard spot, battling it out with Lucas Patrick. But it doesn't stop there. McLaughlin's flexibility gives him a clear edge in the long run. He can play both guard and center, and that might become crucial for Cincinnati. Right now, Ted Karras holds down the center position. He's a veteran leader and a respected voice in the locker room. But let's be honest, age catches up quickly in the NFL. That spot will open up in the next couple of years, and McLaughlin could be the guy waiting in the wings, already getting reps with Joe Burrow, already learning the system from the inside. And if the Bengals need to reshuffle, they've got options. Orlando Brown, Junior Dylan Fairchild, Matt Lee Seth, McLaughlin Amarius Mims, and behind them, Jalen Rivers and Cody Ford ready to step in. For the first time in a long time, Cincinnati's offensive line is no longer patchwork. It's looking deep, flexible, and, most importantly, built to protect Joe Burrow now and in the future. There's finally something different in Cincinnati: real direction and investment in the offensive line. After years of patching things together, this unit finally has structure, talent, and a future. Amarius Mims, a first-rounder in 2024, already looks like a long-term anchor at tackle. Dylan Fairchild, a powerful and polished interior lineman, has the tools to start day 1 and stick for years. The Bengals may have landed 2 foundational pieces in back-to-back drafts, but it's not just about the rookies. Veteran Orlando Brown Jr. remains a high-level performer. Now it's time for him to step into a leadership role, set the tone for a room full of young talent. Same goes for Ted Karras, one of the more reliable and consistent centers in the NFL. These two give Cincinnati experience, toughness, and accountability. If the coaching staff can bring this group together, blend the veterans with the new wave, this offensive line could become the best unit Joe Burrow has ever played behind. And let's not overlook Seth McLaughlin, an undrafted steal. He's recovering from injury, but he's a smart, agile, championship-level player with experience at both center and guard. McLaughlin could be this team's biggest surprise once healthy. He's got starting-level upside and the flexibility to step in wherever needed. Cincinnati hasn't just added bodies, they've added guys who fit. Linemen who can move, linemen who can lead, linemen who can protect the franchise. For the first time in a long time, it finally feels like the Bengals got it right up front. And if this group reaches its potential, the rest of the league better be ready.